Okay, linear inequalities, as we've discussed, so you have greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. Those are inequalities, as opposed to an equation, y equals 3, y equals 3x plus 2. So in order to compare them, let's just look at a linear equation, y equals 3x plus 2. How do I graph it? Well, I know the y-intercept is plus 2. That goes on the y-axis. I know the slope is plus 3, so up 3 and over 1 in the positive direction, or down 3 and over 1 in the opposite direction. So a linear equation would look something like that. Okay? That means anything on that line satisfies this equation. Now, linear inequality has two major differences. Okay, so if I give you this linear inequality, y is greater than 3x plus 2, notice that the right side of this is the same as that equation there. So the y-intercept is still at 2, the slope is still 3, except in this case, because it's an inequality, it's greater than, I have to put a dashed line. That means y can't be equal to 3x plus 2, so it can't be on that line. So we make that line dashed. Now, the next thing to do is find out what does satisfy this inequality, the right side or the left side. So what I do is I just pick a point, usually the origin, because that just makes it easy. The origin 0, 0 right there. Okay, does that satisfy the inequality if I plug those in? So let's look. If y is 0, is that greater than 3 times 0 plus 2? And 3 times 0 is just 0. So is 0 greater than 2? No, it isn't. That means the origin does not satisfy this inequality here. And that means the opposite side of where the origin would be shaded. This whole side would be shaded. That means anywhere I pick a point in here and I plug it into that inequality, it would satisfy, it would meet the requirements of that inequality. In other words, y would be greater than 3 times x plus 2. If I pick the right side, then y wouldn't be greater than 3x plus 2. Okay, now let's look at another difference. So this other difference, the only thing I've changed is this equal sign attached to the inequality. So this says y is greater than or equal to 3x plus 2. Okay, that means y can be equal to that 3x plus 2 line. So in this case, we would make the line a solid blue line, or a solid line rather, doesn't have to be blue, but the shaded area would still be there. So that means any point out here would satisfy this inequality, including points on the line. Whereas before, when I didn't have this equals part attached to it, I couldn't put a point on the line because it didn't meet, it had to be greater than, it couldn't be greater than or equal to. Okay, so that's how that works. Now, if I changed y as less than or equal to 3x plus 2, it'd be the same line, except now, get rid of all this over here, now this side would be shaded. Because when I plug in the origin, 0, 0, 0 is less than or equal to 2. So it does meet that requirement. And so that means the right side of this particular equation would be shaded. And that's how you do the solution sets for inequalities, looking at the graph.